All right, I'm Alex Elwood,
I'm Tanner Slug.
and our topic was calorie intake for college athletes. It's kind of a niche topic, focusing more on the sports nutrition side.
At the beginning, we'll have some stats. According to healthyeating.sfgate, the average male athlete should consume around 3,800 calories a day. The average non-athlete male should consume 2,300 to 3,000 calories a day, and males have 23 calories per 1 pound of body weight. Females should consume obviously less. Female athletes should consume 2,600 calories, 3,000 calories a day. Non-athlete females should consume 2,000 to 2,300 calories a day. And females have 22 calories per 1 pound per body weight. As you can see, the athletes compared to non-athletes is a pretty big difference because the athletes are burning a lot more calories with the activities that they are doing.
Now, I'm sure most of you guys can probably answer this question on your own, but the reason why athletes need more calories is because they burn more. The body uses the calories as fuel for the body to use as energy during performance, activity, practice, even recovery. Tanner will go in more on the next slide, but there are two main types of calories that are used as energy, carbohydrates and fats, and we'll talk about those a little more in the next few slides here.
All right, carbohydrates. 1 gram of carbohydrates equals 4 calories. Carbs are burned during long, intense activities. So an example of an athlete that would burn carbs would be a cross-country runner. Since the cross-country runner is doing long, intense activity, running at a long distance, they would be burning the carbs, and a good way to help them with that would be carb loading. Carb loading is eating high amounts of carbs about 18 to 24 hours before the activity. And the reason they do this is so they have something to burn while they're doing it. Your body has a limited supply of fat. You will never run out of fat, but you can run out of carbohydrates. And carb loading before the race can help them have fuel to burn throughout the activity.
The next is fats. As most of you guys probably know, 1 gram of fat equals 9 kcals. Fats are burned during non-intense activities. An example of an activity that fats are burned would be like walking around a track. Athletes who are trying to lose weight but not lose muscle mass would walk before a sports practice to do so. There's no such thing as a fat loading because there are 3,500 kcal of fat per 1 pound.
Effects of bad calorie consumption. You are more likely to perform worse when you eat the bad calories. However, not all fats are bad. Monounsaturated fats are actually good for you. They have a double bond, which allows the oxygen to break it down easily. And the easier it is to break down, the easier it is to be burned for the activity. Saturated fats are not like that. They do not have the double bond, so oxygen cannot break it down very easily. This creates the saturated fats clog the arteries, and it does not help them burn it throughout the activity.
Next, just some examples of some good things to eat, some healthy options. For fats, your little peanut butter, peanut oil, and avocados. For carbs, obviously your vegetables, your fruits, nuts, beans, and pasta.
Here are some examples of what not to eat for fats and calories. Some fat items that you shouldn't eat is butter, tropical oils, and the fatty cuts of the beef. To help out with that is to cut around the beef before you cook it. Some examples of carbohydrates would be white potatoes, sugar, and sweetened soft drinks. Sugar is a very bad thing to consume a lot of, as you would know. It's not a very good carbohydrate to consume before an activity. Keeping track is also a very important way athletes in college can keep track of their calories. It's important because it allows them to see what they're putting in their body and how much they are putting in their body. Keeping track is one of the most important ways for athletes to maintain, lose, or gain weight during
obviously, like most nutrition, availability is a big part of that. At larger institutions such as Ohio State or mostly all Division I schools, athletes have trainers, dietitians, and food courts that are specifically for athletes only. Obviously, there would be no pizza, no cheeseburgers, none of that bad stuff to tempt the athletes. Healthier food is provided to help them maintain their weight, gain weight, or lose weight. So next we have a video. It's Oregon State athletics. I think the video just touches on the football side though, and you can see how each athlete has their own dietitian just for them, and they sit with them while they eat, and they just let them know what they're eating, and they make sure they're actually eating what they're supposed to be eating. So it's pretty cool. And then you can see how easy it is for athletes at the bigger schools to get the right stuff, rather than someone, say, that goes to school to here, or Division II or Division III, who doesn't have all those perks. Might be an ad.
Another round coming with more vegetables this time. I will bring up a grocery store list for you tomorrow and make sure that you are getting the protein though, because that's also going to help with the recovery. I came to Oregon State to do my master's in exercise and sports science, and then also to do the coursework to become a registered dietitian. And through that process, we recognized that we really needed to have someone that was dedicated here to the position 100% of the time.
I really like Stacy. For her to be initially part-time with us was great, and then the move to make her full-time shows the commitment by our administration that this is important.
What we first started with was getting a current body weight and body composition on each player. We give colored cards out. If you have a red card, chances are you're overweight. If you have a yellow card, you're at your ideal weight and ideal body composition. If you have a green card, you're underweight.
This card is your goal. This doesn't have to happen today. It doesn't have to happen tomorrow. But for example, if there's a number of athletes that need to gain weight, part of what's going to help them gain weight is to eat more than they ever have in their life. And so some athletes, I will literally ask them to increase the amount they're eating by 1 bite per meal, and we'll kind of work from there. For your protein? Alright. And with that pasta too, with the shrimp, that adds protein to it. It's still not a ton, but it definitely counts.
This has been really beneficial. She's helped us a lot. She's always asked us where our carbs are at, how many vegetables we eat, how many fruits, where's our protein, all that type of stuff. And so she's really great. She's more of a friend and mentor than anything else. It's really cool.
I think the number one thing that got athletes to continue to eat the vegetables, which was positive feedback from me, was that a number of them said that they felt like their bodies recovered better, that they weren't as sore as they were this time last year. They never knew that they could finish a workout and not have to feel like they're dead and dying and dread the next day. And I always tell them fruits and vegetables do the work behind the scenes that allow your body to recover and heal so that you can go into the next practice, the next training session as best as you can.
There's been some funny moments because my wife coming over to have lunch or dinner with me in the dining hall, walking by the tables and seeing plates full of vegetables, she was like really impressed with that. We hope this is something that continues to grow and evolve, and it really becomes kind of a lifetime thing for these guys.
So hopefully you those are references, but hopefully you got to see how easy their access was to the healthy foods and the right foods for their practices, activities, or games. So, any questions?
guys ever go to a professional meeting, that's what the moderator is going to do, right? I don't know if you've ever caught on to that, but if the crowd is silent, the moderator will say, I have a question. So, I mean the moderator. So you said saturated fats aren't burned as well and don't eat tropical oils. Why do people supplement coconut oil then? Isn't that both?
Coconut oil, it's a lot better for you than saturated fat. It's a better for you fat than the saturated fats you get from the other kinds of tropical oils. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but it's not as thick as what other oils are.
It is true, tropical oils are weird on the saturated fat spectrum because they're not solid necessarily. Like coconut oil is right on the edge, right? Coconut oil is solid, but if you touch it even with your body temperature, it'll melt. It'll turn to oil. But coconut oil is a saturated fat, and in some research they do use it to worsen blood cholesterol levels and things like that. However, it's a medium chain fat, and medium chain triglycerides tend to be burned fairly rapidly and that sort of. So I actually like medium chain triglycerides for young people trying to gain weight, for example. So it is a saturated fat. It could carry some heart disease risk, but it's a medium chain. It's a different kind of fat, just for the record. It's just one of those confusing things, right? Because you're going to see, like a dietitian would say, oh my goodness, don't eat that, that's saturated fat. And then people are supplementing it, literally by the jar. So it is an unusual type of sat fat. Okay, thanks guys.